Hello and welcome to Eurogas Let's Talk. I'm Bruno Hagen. I'm the Communications Director for Eurogas. I'm very pleased to be joined today by Federica Sabbati. Federica is the Chair of the European Net Zero Alliance, here today to talk to us about ENZA, what it is, what it stands for.
So ENZA it's a relatively new organization created only about over a year ago by a number of associations that represent different sectors and work with different energy vectors and they span from manufacturing to buildings to mobility, paper and agriculture. So really very different sectors, but they have certain things in common. The first one is that we are all committed to deliver on the climate neutrality goals for our sectors and therefore for the European economy. And that we think that the best, the most efficient, the most effective way of doing it is in a cross-energy, cross-vectoral way. So not with a single technology, not with a single energy, but we think an integrated, system-integrated approach is the one that will deliver better, faster the climate neutrality goals that we have set for ourselves as European Union.
Mm. And what is the read of ENZA, if you'd like to share about that, on REPowerEU, so the communications from the European Commission?
Well, first of all, REPowerEU was, of course, a communication, or is a communication that aims to respond to the invasion of Ukraine, so of which we were really all saddened. And we, of course, hope for a resolution of the conflict as soon as possible. At the same time, we looked at the Commission and we're happy to see that it moved quickly with this communication to give a direction and the response to the energy crisis that is, that has been entailed by the invasion of Ukraine. Now, thinking about the goals of decarbonizations that we had set for ourselves way before, we think that there is no change, of course, neither for our sector nor in general for the European Union on those. So we should certainly not change direction, and our goals for climate neutrality remain the same. Now we can add just that there is another urgency, and that's the energy crisis. We also know, and we really believe that there is no possibility of choosing only one course of action when we are responding to the crisis, and that Europe does not have the luxury of excluding certain solutions or excluding certain technologies or excluding certain energy vectors. We will actually need all of them to reach the goals that are both climate and energy goals, and this is something that is something that we all believe. We also liked very much that the Commission moved in to specify some quite ambitious goals for the production of some specific renewable energies like hydrogen and biomethane, but also technologies like heat pumps for my sector, because we believe that these are indeed necessary to reach the goals. Of course, now the question is how do we make sure that we can have that higher level of production of hydrogen and biomethane that we can use in all the end sectors. And for that, proposals like applying the additionality principles after also before 2030, that we see as a problem, because we will need more electrolyzers, we will need more green hydrogen, we will need more biomethane and all other sources of renewable energies, bioenergy, biofuels. So all of these will have to play a part, and the regulatory framework has to support that multi-technology and multi-energy approach. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's still in the context of the ongoing revisions, Fit for 55, the gas package. You're also the Secretary General, of course, of EHI. Would you like to say a bit more? How do you see it for buildings in this context?
I mean, buildings are, of course, a very important piece of the puzzle for reaching the climate neutrality goals that we have. They are responsible for about half of the energy consumption in Europe. So what we do with buildings is really fundamental to reach our goals. Now, again, here we have a very similar approach to ENZA, unsurprisingly. We cannot exclude any solution here. We really need to make sure that we have the right mix of energy solutions and of technology technologies, because Europe is very different, north, south, east, west. Buildings are very different, and each of them will have probably the best suited, most efficient and effective solution. So we really take the same approach, and we say all technologies and all energy vectors that can lead us there need to be used and need to be considered. And this has to be also reflected in the legislation that has to enable that. We see, for example, in the energy performance of buildings, that we think there should be a much broader approach that takes into consideration the production of renewable energies for buildings, not just at the local level, but also using the energy infrastructure that we have. So also on, if you want, on not only leveraging the role of on-site, but leveraging it with the long distance energy sources. So you can provide green electricity to a building that is produced far away and use the energy infrastructure that there is already. Same thing with green gases. So we really need to make sure that we have all the options open.
It's a new way of thinking. We talk about innovation, but there's also innovation in terms of really applying a systems integrated approach.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I think the current crisis has really shown us again that the single way is not the most effective way. And there's a lot of examples also out there. The market has already moved in that direction. It's not something that will be happening. It's already happening, and we have several examples of that. And if I can mention just one of the projects that we have discussed also with the colleagues in ENZA is an interesting project of a combination of energy production and use in a specific location where 4 villages are going to be integrating in a system whereby they use energy from green electricity sources and hydrogen that powers both the heating and the mobility of those villages. This is a German project called SmartQuad, which is very interesting because it showcases this approach in system integration. Different vectors can provide for different needs of buildings and of towns. So this is a very concrete way of tackling and of implementing the fancy word system integration.
It's one thing we definitely see in ENZA. The more we speak with the various members as we do our events together, there are so many great projects just like that across buildings, the different energy sources as well, into the industries as well. That's paper, power generation. There's a lot happening, a lot to learn.
Exactly. And I think it's important to showcase these examples because we are bringing system integration to life. That has to it's important to show that it means something and that brings concrete solutions.
Thank you, Federica. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you.
And thanks also to our viewers for watching Eurogas Let's Talk. Please do tune in again.